Besides death and taxes, the third great certainty about civilized life is bureaucracy. You cannot live or die without submitting proper paperwork to the proper authorities. Be born without a birth certificate, and you will not exist. Die without a death certificate, and you will continue to owe money to a government unable to recognize that you no longer exist. Try to earn, win, or even give away any significant amount of money, and you will need to fill out some series of forms, pay some kind of administrative fee, and stand in some line. And when you need something important in life, a range of numbers with coded meaning will zip between bureaucrats, informing them of some positive or negative aspect of your identity, like your credit or LSAT scores, your criminal risk assessment grade, your occupational licensing status, your immunization record, and on and on. Someone behind the scenes is always looking at whether your papers are in order, and they will be returned for resubmission if they do not have an ink-dried, notarized signature on page 3. And that would be if you're lucky. Most often than not, if you commit an oversight, your papers are simply discarded for being improper, and you only find that out when you show up for an important appointment and find you are not in the system, and so you are asked to start again. Governments and the private sector, low-stakes institutions and high-stakes ones, are all beholden to rules, policies, procedures, regulations, and the bureaucrats who implement them. It isn't just the government. It is your wireless carrier, your utility company, your bank, and your school. Any organization of scale walks down the path of bureaucratization and then over-bureaucratization. Big businesses, small businesses that compete with big businesses, community groups, youth, sports, and anything involving the management of lots of people will require rules and their enforcement, rather than informal exchanges between people built on trust, friendships, acquaintanceships, and verbal agreements. As I sit down to write this chapter, my wife calls, needing me to go through our file drawer. A nurse at one of the country's largest healthcare providers is unable to administer the second of a 2-shot vaccine series to my 10-year-old daughter during an appointment specifically scheduled by the provider for the second shot. There is no record in their system of the first shot. I understand things from the healthcare provider's perspective. You can't trust a patient's word about their vaccine history. How often are they wrong? And how many patients want to lie about their vaccine history to avoid getting boosters? And God forbid, what if you have a nurse or doctor who takes bribes to help patients falsify their medical records, not only to get out of routine vaccines, but to get workers' compensation, cheaper life insurance policies, or to pass drug tests for jobs?